What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to sell a lead generation website for $1 million. Because if you don't know, I was able to sell one of our lead generation sites back in 2022, not for $1 million, but after kind of incentives and everything, it probably came out to around $700,000 US, which I guess Canadian is basically $1 million. I did split that with some partners. So this wasn't a life-changing amount of money necessarily, but definitely pumped up the savings and helped me buy a place. So I guess you could say it was. And so looking back on that, there's a couple things I think we could have done a lot better to get more money for this lead generation site that we had. A lot of people are thinking, or they comment about this saying, couldn't you have sold this for a lot more? And so I'll go into that in this video. And I had people also asking, what would you recommend for somebody looking to sell their site in the future? So that's what we're going to jump into in this video. And as always, guys, join the Leadbase free school, link in the description, where you can get access to monthly training that's absolutely free. 3 free courses. We now have more courses in there, and we have 4,000 members. So join the free school. All right, let's jump into it. So there's a few things that make your lead generation website valuable. One is your database. So you have leads that you're generating over time. And this is actually what really differentiates selling leads and owning a lead gen site versus doing something like a retainer. When you do a retainer, you're working on somebody else's brand, on their website, on their ad accounts. But when you run a lead generation site, you're building up your ad accounts, you're building up your pixel. That's actually worth a lot of money. You're building a website with IP, with brand awareness, with brand equity, and you're building a database of leads over time. And so when we sold our lead generation site, we sold it with several 100,000 leads. That is obviously worth something to a company that could, use that data and work those leads. And so in our case, we actually ended up selling it to one of our clients. I think, there's definitely a few things we could have done better to, get more money for this. And we could have organized our database better, which would be kind of number one. We had, leads on Google Sheets. We had them in Lead Prosper. We had them in Go High Level because we started this brand without knowing what we were doing. And we had leads kind of just all over the place. And we also never maintained relationships with those leads. We just sold them to the client that ended up purchasing us. At least it was our biggest client. And then we basically said to them, you have 60 days to work these leads, and then we have ownership of those leads, and then we just let them sit there, and we never did anything with them again. Maintaining relationships with your leads, having like even a monthly email blast or some way of reaching out to them, building an actual community around the leads that you generate so you can sell them other offers in the future. Maybe you're generating solar leads. There's no reason you can't sell roofs or, renovations to those homeowners that are getting solar in the future. So it's important to maintain a relationship and have a really organized database. And I think that can make your lead generation business worth a lot. Let's say you go and generate a couple thousand leads a month over the next few years. You could have 100,000 leads in your database. And if you're remarketing to those leads and actually having them produce revenue on a consistent basis, that's going to greatly increase your multiple that you can sell your business for. Next is SEO. We did absolutely zero SEO. I personally don't like SEO. I don't know how to do it. I suck at it, so I didn't do it. We were just generating leads, maybe 100 to 150 leads per day through Meta and through Google. That was our only focus, which again, that is what we teach at Leadbase. That is what we focus on. We focus on paid acquisition, but I didn't focus on SEO at all. And so I think focusing after the first 2 or 3 months and, you're seeing profit come in with your lead generation business, it is important, I think, to at least have a foundation for SEO where you are putting out content and you're trying to build something up where you can get some organic leads. Because the best part is when you're running paid ads, and let's say you're paying $50 per lead on Google or Facebook and you're selling them for 100, obviously that's great if you can scale that. But once you start getting SEO leads that you can sell for 100, those are essentially free. Obviously there's some upfront work that's required there, but if you can start getting even 10 leads per month, that's an extra $1,000. If you can get 100 leads per month, obviously that's going to be a lot more difficult, but even just, like I said, even 10 leads to 20 leads per month from SEO is going to greatly increase the multiple as well on your business. And we essentially didn't really have any organic traffic coming to our site because we didn't focus on ranking it at all. So that's something you can do down the road. I wouldn't focus that at the start. But again, once you see some traction, start to really think about how you can build that brand, and SEO is going to be an important part of that. Number 3 is content. We didn't really put out any educational or organic content. We did a few blog posts, we did a few videos. We had a few YouTube videos, but again, after that 2 or 3 months where you're starting to make profit, I would start to do weekly YouTube videos. And this is something I need to take my own medicine because I'm not really doing this now for our current lead gen brands, but making weekly videos where you actually put out educational content. You can use that video for those emails that I talked about earlier to your database. Educate, get a face to the brand. I like to do my own videos for the brands. And so people start to know who I am and see that I'm a normal, average, somewhat likable guy. And so content's very important. Again, posting on YouTube, posting on Instagram. You can hire a VA to help you kind of manage this potentially if you are seeing profits and use those profits to build that brand. I always kind of ignored content marketing. I'm like, paid ads are the way to go. This is how we make our money. I didn't think it was worth it. But now I've seen the power of YouTube, not only to grow Leadbase, but also like I've gotten clients that have seen my YouTube videos about Leadbase and come through that avenue because they're searching, and YouTube is basically an SEO play if you title your videos right. So you could definitely see a lot of traction if you focus on creating high quality content that actually puts a face to the name. Not even necessarily high quality from a filming perspective. You can film on your iPhone, but just trustworthy content that shows that you're an authority in the space. So I think content is very important, and that also adds to this brand equity that is, again, going to increase the value of your business. And lastly, in our case, we had a few smaller clients and one bigger client. And so we kind of pigeonholed ourselves a little bit. Essentially, we wanted to sell this business. We knew that we wanted to get out of this niche. This is in the timeshare space, by the way, timeshare exit space. We knew we wanted to get out of this niche, but it didn't make sense, especially because it was so focused on us and so focused on paid advertising that we essentially only had one choice, and that was to sell to our client. And they obviously had some bargaining power. Again, we already wanted to get out of this niche. If this, with the revenue we were doing, 100K plus per month in revenue, that obviously, if this was like a tech company or something, we'd be selling this for $10 million. We didn't sell it for that much. We were selling to a client. It was very based on us. We did get a sick consulting contract after. But if we just walked away from that business, it would kind of be worthless because it was so focused on us generating leads through those ads. And they did run with the ads. They're still running ads to this day. I'm still in the ads, which is funny. They have the database. Obviously, that was worth money. They have the brand equity. Those things are all worth money. But if there was more of, I think, an organized database, a content library, some SEO involved where they could take this business and run with it from day one, they didn't need us as much. I think it would have been worth a lot more. And again, if we sold it to anybody else, our client would just be like, okay, we're not going to buy leads. We're the biggest source of your revenue. So we pretty much have the power here. Again, which is fine, which is fair. They're a great client. And we were happy to sell to them because, again, we just didn't really want to be in this industry anymore for a couple different reasons that I won't get into. But yeah, there's definitely opportunity to focus on having more of a streamlined business. The last thing I will say, bonus number 5, is actually incorporate your lead gen business. So I didn't do this. This was just basically a website we were running through our business. And so we had to sell the website and the brand as separate assets instead of selling a corporation, which made the sale a lot more intricate and confusing. So if that doesn't make sense, essentially, if you're in the US, you'd have an LLC. If you're in Canada, you'd have a corporation. Set up a corporation that owns your lead generation site. I would only do this once it's like you're seeing some success. You don't want to set up a corporation for every lead gen site until it's really like kind of makes sense to do so. But it would have been nice if we could just say, here, you own this business. We're selling you this corporation versus saying listing every single asset, having to give them access to like Facebook accounts and websites and stuff. It just made the sale a lot less, straightforward. Maybe you have more clientele spread out and, purchasing more leads, which I think would make your business more valuable. Let's say you had 20 clients versus I had like 3 or 4 clients. The advantage of having 3 or 4 clients is that it's easier to manage and you can scale, I think, quicker. But with 20 clients, someone could take that over and manage it. You could consult them and then you don't have to worry about losing a client or 2. And so I think that would make your business potentially more valuable. And then if you incorporated that, you're able to kind of, again, sell that as one piece. And so, sorry, I jumped around a little bit there, but hopefully that's helpful. When you go and set up this lead gen brand, again, this is why I love lead gen so much. And really the way we set the business up is you're building your own brand and your own site that has value. You're not just working for somebody else and then they fire you and you have nothing. You have something, you're gaining knowledge, you're generating leads, you're building a database of leads and building brand equity, building a brand that actually could be sold in the future and does have value that grows over time. So you can kind of think of it as, you get your first few clients and maybe it doesn't go well, but you generate some leads and you learned a lot. You're actually building equity. You're essentially brand equity with your lead generation business. So hopefully this video is helpful. I wanted to kind of go through that a little bit because I've had some questions about it. If you have any questions about that process at all, please comment down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have, and make sure to join the free Skool link in the description because you can now access more courses. If you don't know, Skool has a leveling system. Level 1 is going to get access to our Create a Lead Generation Business course. Level 2 now, you can access the Create a Lead Gen Brand from Zero course, which is me essentially building a brand from scratch, getting clients, and making a profit. You can see that entire process in that course. Level 3 is going to be a cold email crash course. It's going to show you how to get clients. And level 4 is a one-on-one call with myself or Ryan B, depending on who you want to chat with. And so there's some goodies in there that you're going to want to get access to. So click below and join the Leadbase free school. And again, comment, like, please subscribe, guys. We're trying to get 10,000 subscribers. I really enjoy making these videos and appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.